Welcome, fellow warriors. I'm the Martial Scholar, and this is To Black Belt and Beyond. If it's your first time viewing one of my videos, smash that like button. If you enjoy the content of my channel, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell so that you can be notified when new videos drop. Before we start, I want to shout out Breath and Flow for another excellent yoga sequence. I enjoy these particular sequences or flows because when at times training becomes too much, or you feel like, oh, I don't want to do anything, these are the kind of yoga sequences that help you to maintain and to gain strength in your stabilizers and other areas of your body. So shout out to Breath and Flow. We're going to begin by coming to a seated position and start controlling our breath. Breathe in through the nose and exhale through the nose. As we're doing this, we're setting an intention, our own personal intention. And mine for this particular practice is to go through the entire flow without taking any breaks, stopping, or making too many mistakes. So as you're sitting here, be tall, take deep, bountiful breaths, exhale fully, and set your mind to your own personal goals and what you want to accomplish or take out of this particular practice. Relax the shoulders, bring the hands to the chest. Think about the intention. Take a bow of the head. Focus. In the moment, and we're going to begin. So what you're going to do with your, come to a tabletop position, stack your hands above your shoulders and your waist above your knees, and then start moving back and forth, and only go as far as you're comfortable with the wrists. Don't go so far as you hurt yourself or there's pain, just so that you feel the sensation. Make sure your feet are kept in a nice flexed position and they're not flat, because you're stretching the sole of your feet as well as you're doing this. Then start to rotate one direction, go twice, and twice the other direction. Now flip your hands towards your knees and gently bring your hips back to your heels, and only go as far as you're comfortable. If you want a deeper stretch, you can bend your elbows. So take nice deep breaths as you're doing this. Flip your hands back and shake them out. So come back into tabletop position, and what you do is you're going to push through your palms and protract your back upwards. So really find that space and then push. Really find the energy and focus between your forefinger and your thumb on each hand. Really trying to get that straight arms and let your scapulars or your shoulder blades fall to the side. So really push up, and if you can, lift your knees gently, just slightly off of the floor, and let them hover, and hold it there for a few breaths. And now go into plank. Keep that protracted curve on your back and hold. These are where the stabilizers come into effect, and the strength and building of your muscles and sinews. Make sure you're breathing as you're doing this. Really focus between the forefinger and a thumb on each hand, and try to channel the intent of pushing, or the strength of it, through those areas, as well as the palm of your hands. So if you were done a warm-up and it was the bands, very simple, very light. Now go down to your forearms, still holding that plank. Make sure your hips are tucked in, and you're trying to reduce the S curl in your lower back, trying to keep your back as straight as possible. Breathe in and out while you're in these positions, and then come all the way into child's pose. So go onto your elbows and try and open up your scapulars by bringing your arms, or open up your armpits. Try and bring your hand back to your head and really open up the sockets, and trying to get your chest as low to the ground as possible. These are good for anyone who's a boxer, Wing Chun practitioner, to really make sure you're nice and mobile, especially in that area where you generate power and punch effect. Now go into downward facing dog, bend your knees, and what you want to do is the same thing as open up the scapulars. I'm holding the edges of my mat, and I'm trying to get as deep as my chest, as close to my quads as possible, while I'm in with the bended knee. You can then straighten your legs, and try and get a deep bend, especially at the top of your back. Open up that armpit socket, and you're trying to keep a straight back, and keep your hips as high up as possible. Walk your hands back to the mat. Take a breath. Exhale. Come up, take another breath. Exhale. Take another breath. Exhale. Each time you're trying to get your chest as close to your quads as possible. Now walk back into downward facing dog. Come to your toes and go into plank. Hold that position. Be pushing through the palm of your hands and forefingers, and then switch to the blade of your left foot and stack your shoulders. Try and keep your hips up as you're doing this. So you're trying to push into the palm of your left hand, and if you can, raise your leg up. I did the mistake of placing my right foot, and that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to keep your leg up, keep it straight, and then bring your knee to your armpit. And when you finish, you go and you bring your right foot in between your hands, lower your left knee down and then raise your arms up. Raise your arms up and try to keep a nice straight back. You want to lower your quads down, as in lower your hips down, and as you're lowering your hips down, you're also pulling back on your heel, on your right heel. Then straighten your right leg and sit back on your heel and stretch your hamstring. Take nice deep breaths. The aim is to try and get your chest close to your quad. If you want a deeper stretch, bring your chin to your chest. Take nice deep breaths. Move your right foot left and right so that you could really feel the different positions of your hamstring in that stretch. So come forward, bend the right knee, and then come up into a tripod stand, pivot to your left, and then come into a standing straddle. What you want to do is go low as far as your legs as possible, and you want to walk your hands as far back as you possibly can. The aim is to get your head and your spine and your hip into the same line. Then release, come up a little bit, and then bend the left knee. The aim is to get the heel onto the floor, but if you can't, that's okay. I couldn't. Now pivot, bend the right knee and stretch the right arm upwards. Try and stack your shoulders on top of one another and take deep breaths as you're doing this. Stretch the hand forward, really stretch. Get that left, and then go into like a seated pistol squat. Do not go on the floor like I just did. That's my mistake. Keep your hips up high and just go back and forth 3 times in total. That's twice, and then one more, and then go down. Keep that leg up, raise it up, stretch your right leg and lift your shoulders off of the floor and do mini sit-ups. Do 5, 4, 5, and on the 5th hold. 3, 4, 5, and release, and then come up. Now if you could stand using a pistol squat, that's okay, but do the same position we did and bring the left leg back, bend the right knee, and in this lunge position really work on your hips. Open it up, go in different areas, try different angles, twist left and right just to open up your hips. Place the left knee on the ground and reach round with your right hand to grab your pinky toe. And what you want to do, you want to push deep into the actual hip opener, and also you want to try and lift your torso up and twist. So you're doing quite a few things in this position. You're doing like a mini back bend, a hip opener, and a twist, as well as working on your glutes, calves, and quads, as well as torso. So release, gently release, place your hands, and then go back into a plank and hold here for a few breaths. So these holding of the plank and going down into chaturanga, push back up, hold a breath, move forward, chaturanga, push back up, move forward, chaturanga, hold it for a few seconds, and then release. These positions are really good for your stabilizers and building strength. So clasp your hands behind and lift up your chest. What you want to do, keep your feet flat on the floor for this one and raise your chest. breathe in and then release. Bring your hands to your sides again and then push into child's pose. Relax and really open up your back. Take nice deep breaths. So come back into downward facing dog. Go into a plank. Really push off of those 4 fingers and thumb and heel of the palm, and then switch sides. Go onto the right side of your foot and stack your shoulders. Really push through the palm of your right hand and stretch, really stretch up. Keep your hips, and if you can, raise your leg. Hold that balance. It's not that easy. I found it difficult. You can always restart, regain your composure, and then go back again. Bring the left leg in between your hands and place the right leg or right knee on the floor and stretch your hands up into the air. Really press down in that hip and try to push forward. Place the hands in between your left leg and then stretch. Go back on your heels, stretch your hamstring. Remember to try and get your chest close to your quads, and if you want a deeper stretch, bring your chin to your chest. And just breathe in and out. When you're ready, come into the standing straddle. Walk your hands as far back as possible, and the intention and aim is to try and get a straight line between your hips, spine and head. So there should be a nice straight line. So release, come up, and then stretch or bend the right knee and stretch the left leg. The aim is to try and get that heel on the floor. It's okay if you're not doing it at the moment. It takes time, and it just shows you how mobile your ankle is. Come back, facing forward. Keep the right leg straight. Keep the right hand on the floor and lift the left palm or left hand into the air. Keep that arm straight, and now bring the left arm forward. Keep the leg straight, and then pistol squat, but do not let your hips touch the floor. Let it hover just above the floor. One more time. And then sit down, keeping that leg straight. Sit back, keep the right leg straight. You go do mini sit-ups, left leg straight off the floor, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then come up. With the same motion, bring the right leg back, keep that leg straight, Bring your arms in between your lunge and start moving around in your lunge, working the mobility of your hips. Open up those flexors. Please remember to breathe as you're doing these things. There's no good holding your breath or slowing down. Well, it's good to slow down your breath, but it's good to breathe ultimately. So place the right knee on the floor, and you're going to reach back with your left hand, grab your pinky foot of your right foot and twist, as well as go deep into the lunge. What you're doing also is pulling your foot into the palm of your hand to open up and get you that twist as well. Really breathe in and out. Release. And then come back into plank. Sort it out, neaten it up, and hold. Remember, this is strengthening your stabilizers, giving you more inner strength so that you can exert outwardly. Lower down into chaturanga, hover, push back up into plank, forward, lower down into chaturanga, then push back up, lower down into chaturanga, hold it a few seconds, and then release. What you want to do is you want to spread your arms like in a T and hover. Lift your chest and your feet off of the ground. Then release. Now what you want to do is you want to hover, go into chaturanga and then plank, push up, go into downward facing dog. Get your breath, take some breaths, sort yourself out. Breathe in through the nose, exhale through the mouth 3 times. 2, 3. Now return to breathing through your nose. This is a good place to recover, a good place to get your stabilizers nice and solid. Bend your knees and push back if you can further into your arms, and then jump forward. Raise yourself halfway. Take a breath and then lower down. Bend your knees and slowly rise up. Raise your hands up and then lower down and fold. Come up halfway and then go back. Hop back into chaturanga, push back up into plank, and then downward facing dog. And then if you want, hop back up halfway, take a breath and then bend. Really bend your knees and then slowly raise your hands and body up. Take a breath, exhale, come back down. Once again, go into chair, and while you're in chair, lower the hips and bring the hands to the heart. and then take a twist. Really get that twist, and ultimately your hips want to come lower, as low as you possibly go. So you're working on so many things: the glutes, the quads, the hamstrings, the mobility of the ankles. And the lower you get, the more mobile your ankle will become. Take that twist. Now, what you can do is make sure that your chest is nice and secure. And what you want to do is lift your left leg while you're still in that twist and bring it to the back of you. Try and raise it as high as you can, and then place that left leg on the ground. Keep that twist. Get that right knee bent. Be breathing. As time progresses, ultimately that left heel will be on the floor. And if you want, you can try and do the clasp, which is not as easy as it looks, but progression is the aim of the game. Then release and go into twisted warrior pose. And you bend, yes, you're supposed to bend your left leg while you go into this pose, and keep your torso up. Then switch positions and go into warrior 2. So bend that right knee, keep those arms straight, keep them up, don't let them fall down. As you can see, it's not that easy. Into warrior 2, and then place both hands onto the floor. Keep your legs straight, and then go into three-legged plank, and then go back into warrior. Go back down, three-legged plank, and then go back into warrior. Reverse your warrior stance. So let your right arm come up and your left hand go down, and you stretch your side while still bending that right knee. Straighten it, go into the straddle, and then bend your left leg and straighten your right knee. Then go back into lunge with a twist and go into wild thing. While you're here, push your hips up. Push your hips up. Hold it. Try and get a nice bend, and the hips go up. Come back into three-legged chaturanga. Then come up into three-legged plank. Hold it. Hold it. Take a breath. And then go into three-legged dog. Keep that leg up. So while you're in a three-legged dog, hop or jump into a half pose, then come back into a warrior one. Lift your hands up into the air, get that knee bent, stretch. And then what you want to do is to let your hands fly beside you, and you want to shift your weight onto your left foot, seamlessly trying to hold that position where your legs and your arms are in the air beside you. Keep a nice straight leg. Push or point towards the back of your heel. Try and keep that torso and leg in a straight line if possible. Trying to hold the balance and stabilize is not easy. Then bring that right leg behind you and sit down. You're going to go for a twist, and you then bring your right arm across your left thigh and turn your body using your left hand to stabilize yourself behind you, and try and keep tall as you exhale and twist. So release and then come back up, still on the same leg. Keep that leg off the floor and go into a half moon pose. Try and get that shoulder stacked on top of one another, and if you're capable, lift up your torso and bring your left arm to your chest. Keep that torso and leg as straight in a line as possible. Then come into pigeon. Now place your right foot across your left knee and lower your hips. Now keep your foot flexed, and you can then do the twist where you place your right hand onto the ground while maintaining that balance. If you fail, that's okay. Reset, start again, and carry on. Try and get that twist, and then release, come back, bring the right leg to the back of you, and then go into mounted straddle, and try and then place your head in between your legs. Then come back into plank. Hold it there. Chaturanga, push up. Chaturanga, push up. Chaturanga, hold it for a few seconds. Maintain it and then lower down. Clasp your hand behind your back and then raise your chest up and your feet as well. Only let your thigh and your hip be on the floor. Raise it up, keep it, breathe in and out as you're doing this. Maintain it and then release. Take a few breaths. Then come back up into downward facing dog. Breathe in and out. Take nice deep breaths. Come up into half a plank. Take a breath and then bow. Release, exhale as you bend. Come up halfway and release. Take a breath or exhale. Bend your knees and then roll your body up. Raise your hands up and then fold into a nice chair pose. Hold it. You're going to do the twist on the other side. Try and bring your palms closer to your chest, which I'm not doing. My palms are too far away from my chest. So we're going to attempt to do this without any hiccups and try and do it seamlessly. So twist and then look up. Make sure it's a nice twist. As you exhale, make sure you twist your body. Try and sink low in your hips to help the mobility of your ankles. Help them to do more. Then bring your right leg behind, hold it up. Not yet bring it behind, but hold it up, hovering, and then start bringing it behind you. No. Try and keep that leg up in the air, keep it straight, and then bring it straight in, place it behind you, keep the leg straight while keeping that twist. Place the hand down and then try and stack that shoulder blade on top of one another, the left on top of the right. Then go into Warrior 2. Try and get that bend. It's very important. Last time I didn't do that, my leg was straight. So you learn as you go along. Bend and then reverse it. Go into Warrior 1. Get that bend in the left knee. Keep that right leg straight. Come into a low lunge and then go into Chaturanga. In a three-legged Chaturanga, go back into Warrior 1. Go into three-legged Chaturanga. Push back up into Warrior 1. Go back into a reverse stretch. So right hand will go down the right leg, left hand will come up, and you bend. Bend the right knee and stretch the left leg. Again, then move forward into Wild Thing. Try and keep those hips up. Really stretch and arch that back. Thrust those hips up and then come back into a three-legged plank. Hold it for a few seconds. Then go into a three-legged downward facing dog. Try and keep the hips in line with one another. Keep them even. Then bring your left leg in between your legs. Then come into half pose. Take a breath and then bend. Bring the left leg back. And then go into warrior. And then fly the hands behind you and then shift the weight forward and stand on your right leg. Keep that left leg straight and keep the torso straight. You're working on your abs, back, glutes and hamstrings. So try and keep that leg straight and keep your right leg straight. Then place that left leg behind you and sit down. Then you bring that left arm across your right knee or your right thigh and twist using your right hand to support you. Take deep breaths. As you breathe in deep, you stretch your torso up. As you exhale, you twist even more. Release. Then start to come back up. Stay on that right foot. Keep that left leg, go into half moon pose. Keep that leg straight and use the strength of your side abductors on your torso, on your side muscles, on your side abs. Try and keep it straight and then bring your right hand to your heart. Try and maintain that balance. Then come into pigeon pose. Bring the left foot across the right knee and then lower your hips down. If possible, what you will do is that you will place your left hand on the floor and twist and raise your right hand into the air. It is a balancing act and it's not easy, but these are good examples of working on your stabilizers and getting strength in areas you didn't think you could have strength in. So make sure your left foot is flexed during that pose, and then come back into half standing straddle, lower down, take a breath, exhale and bend. We're always trying to get that straight line from the head, back, hips. Then come facing forward. Go into plank. Hold it there. Lower down into chaturanga. Push back up. Lower down into chaturanga. Push back up. Lower down into chaturanga. Hold it for a few more seconds. And then release. Stretch your hands to your sides and lift your chest and your feet up off the ground. Only your quads and your hips should be on the floor. Be breathing as you're maintaining this position and then release. Come up into upward facing dog. Straighten those arms, push those hips down. This is a good recovery position, and then go into downward facing dog. Try and really get energy up through your arms, back, up into your hips. Really keep your hips up high. Intention is always to get that upper back nice and straight. Bend your knees and then come down. Sit back down. And we'll be doing the closing moves. Go into a reverse tabletop. Keep those hips up. Really accentuate the stretch. Move back and forth. You can let your head rest or not. Then move your hips forward and then settle down and slowly lower your hips. Go into happy baby, grabbing your outside of your foot or the inside of your foot. Try and keep your lower back and your upper back on the floor, and you can stretch out one leg at a time if you wish to do so. Really try and get those hip flexors open. So always maintain your lower back on the floor and your upper back on the floor. So you could stay here for as long as you want. I stayed here for quite a while by placing my feet behind my head and stretching my palms and get them as low to the floor as possible. I bent my knees to get a deeper stretch. And take your time. This is recovery, this is repairing and just healing basically. Try and breathe. So I misunderstood what was going on here, but you shall see it in a few seconds. Stretch your back, stretch your muscles. So what you can do now is basically what you need to do is you need to place your right ankle over your left knee and then put your hands in between the loop in your leg. And now as you're doing this, you need to keep your feet flexed. Don't let your feet be floppy, keep it flexed. Really push it into you. Take deep breaths while you're here. There's another way you can do this, and I'll demonstrate in a few seconds. So hug your feet to you, reinforce it with both hands, and then straighten your left leg while keeping your right leg close to you. Then come back and then release. Switch legs. So the left leg or the left foot will go over the right knee, and both feet are flexed. You just bring those legs towards you, and then if you want to change it up, straighten the right leg while you've reinforced the position with your left leg, and just breathe while you're in this position. This is nice, relaxing, therapeutic. So bring your knees close to your chest, rock side to side. Take a few moments, and then release. Go into Vinasra and totally relax. So please stay here for as long as you want, minimum 5 minutes, and just softly, gently relax. Relax your body, relax your jawline, your furrows, your eyebrows. Relax everything about you, even the way you're breathing. Don't hold your breath or tension in your chest or stomach region. So take your time. Thank you, and God bless. I've been the Martial Scholar. This has been my journey to black belt and beyond. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, subscribe, and be safe. And until next time, safe travels on your journey. Peace.